Welcome to the Wallach School District, and the Wallach School District is excited to host this event. I think this is the fourth time we've done this. Fifth. Oh. So why Wallach School District would be involved in something like this? One is really important to get information out, and I feel like sometimes people up in Ephrata, Moses Lake forget about South County. So to have us represented, and I know we don't have a lot of countywide races, but to have in the past our commissioners, prosecutors down here, it's meant a lot. And then for you guys just to take a few minutes and share why you're here. And again, several of you are unopposed, but it's still nice to meet your stakeholders. And again, even though in the audience it doesn't look like there's very many people here, this will be broadcast, so this will get out, and just another opportunity to connect. And that's what we find, at least at the school district, really, really hard to make those connections, because board meetings traditionally, we might get one or two. If we're talking about a key issue, maybe you might get 5 people, but it's really hard to get your stakeholders to come to these events, and so we really have to meet them in different ways. So this is important to us. This was a big week. We just opened campus, or opened school on Monday. We kicked off the school year, followed that up with a prayer night. Some of you were at that night, and then we've just continued on. So we had a community coalition last night, and then tonight we've got the voters forum, and then sports are just right around the corner. So we're excited for a big year. Again, we're excited to have you. And so I'm gonna introduce the editor of the Columbia Basin Herald, Rob Miller.
Thank you, Andy. I'm gonna step around here so I can actually see everybody and have a chat. Again, my name is Rob Miller. I am the managing editor of the Columbia Basin Herald, which mostly means that I have to raise a whole bunch of reporters and get them running around the county like chickens with their heads cut off, and we have a lot of fun and meet a lot of amazing human beings here in the Basin. We cover everything from the Elmira Cooley Heartline area all the way down to Ritzville, and it's a lot, but honestly it's a lot of fun at the same time. Andy just mentioned sports. One of the things that we're excited about, if you stop in any of our sites that sell papers over the weekend, tomorrow's paper is going to have our annual Gridiron Guide, and that includes Mattawa football, and then all of their opponents in the area, because when it comes right down to it, Ephrata plays Mattawa on occasion, and Quincy, and everybody plays each other, and these kids are growing up together, and it's just a wonderful, I think, memento to help them start the season, get excited for it. And our new sports reporter, Mike Maynard, has been running around nerding out on football for like the last 2.5 weeks. So he's very excited for the kids to go out there, for the Warriors to hit the gridiron and start doing some good things out there and making Mattawa and the surrounding community proud. So pick that up, and I would encourage all of you to go out to a Mattawa football game sometime in the near future, or any of the other sports that are coming up, volleyball, track, cross country, a bajillion and one things like that. So but tonight is really about civic education, is what we're here for. And if we happen to get a plug-in to go out and support the kids, I didn't think anyone would mind. But what we want to talk about tonight is why each of you is opting to represent your community on a board or on a commission, whatever the case might be, and what the challenges are facing the community and what you want to do about it. There are a lot of opportunities here in the Mattawa area, including the desert air area, because in a lot of ways it's one community. But in addition to that, there are some challenges that you need to work as a community to address, and we're hoping to raise awareness of that, and just make sure that everyone can work together, be informed about what's happening, and hopefully come together as a community to face the challenges and seize those opportunities that are out there. So what I'd like to do to start out is just starting on that end down there. If you could stand up, introduce yourself, what position you're running for or already serving on, and kind of what drew you to public service.
Hi, my name is Luke Jenny. I am currently serving on the school board and running to continue my service there. Here, I guess we're in the school. I grew up here in Mattawa, graduated from Wahluke High School, the old one, many years ago, and moved away for a number of years, did some things, and have been back for 10, and have just wanted to give back and serve the community that raised me. It's been a great opportunity to be on the school board for the past almost 4 years now, building good connections, not only with the school board members and the directors, but also teachers, students, parents, and general community members. Just thinking about my purpose, I guess, when I ran to be on the school board 4 years ago, I didn't have a specific agenda, as in I didn't come in with big plans of making some change. I knew many of this, or I guess all of the school board members existing, and had a good relationship with them, and looked forward to continue the work that they were doing. But my main purpose was simply to protect our children and the values that the members of our community hold. I know that we've got a lot of great families, hardworking men and women who entrust the school with their children every day. And the bottom line was making sure that they're protected, and not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, getting them the help that they need, and making sure that we're giving them opportunities for education and preparing for their future. So I hope to continue that service. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elia Mendoza. I am running for the school board. I'm actually challenging Mr. Jennings. The reason why I'm running is because I've been in public service for a long time, almost 10 years. I am from here, from Mattawa. I could say I grew up here because this is where I came to from my country of origin. I graduated from here, from Wahluke School District, from the old high school some time ago. And I am running because I know the community. This is my community. I see the challenges that the community faces on both sides, on the immigrant side and also on school side. Like Mr. Jennings said, students need to feel safe in school, to be in a learning environment. So that's why I'm running. I do have some plans. I do have an agenda, but it's not my agenda. It's something that is, it's a community agenda. And out of respect for the audience, I will also introduce myself in Spanish very quickly. Yo soy Elia Mendoza, estoy corriendo para la mesa directiva de Paraguay, porque esa es mi comunidad. No tengo una agenda específica, pero estoy trabajando para la seguridad y el bienestar de los estudiantes.
Hi, my name is Nick Trejo. I'm currently on the school board. This is going to be our first term, almost 4 years. I grew up here in Mattawa, graduated, again, the old high school. I have kids, 3 kids that attend Wahluke School District, and I want to see them graduate from our school district. I joined the school board to, I guess, become more involved in my kids' education, help with the school, and I guess make it better for our kids, and I hope that I can continue that for the next 4 years and hopefully longer. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Broda. I live over in Desert Air, and I'm running for the position number 2 at the airport. Help me out there, boss. Airport District. Now, you may wonder why you care about the airport district over there. Well, there's a lot of things that airport does for us, including y'all that live here in Desert Air. I'm sorry, those of you who live here in Mattawa, you remember about 5 years ago, a couple of years before COVID, there was the whole hillside across the river there was on fire. And the BLM had 3 super scoopers, and they went after it for about 2.5 weeks and kept that fire from burning down what would have been most of Desert Air. And also a couple of years before that, there was a pretty good sized fire in at Hanford. And the fact that those folks don't have to go very far to get water and put it on the fire zone is a blessing. So our job as commissioners are to see that that airport is maintained and ready to be used for emergencies, as well as us old fat men that like to go fly airplanes on a nice sunset day. Additionally, there's quite a bit of commerce that goes through that airport. The folks up here on the reach that build those hay bales, and do you know where some of those hay bales go? They go to Japan, they go to China, they go to Korea. So they bring the people from those different countries, they fly them into the airport and they do their business deals, and then that's good for business for the whole Mattawa community here in terms of the agriculture. So this is my 4th time running. It's a 2-year tour, and every 2 years seems to be something a little bit different. Like I said, I'm running for position number 2, which is the Secretary Treasurer. So I get to make sure that all the money that is donated to us is used to maintain and keep that runway in good state.
Thank you, Ken. Good evening, my name is Gail Daly, and I've got lots of family ties here in Central Washington for my whole life. I've been coming over here my whole life, and but never really thought I'd find myself living here permanently until our daughter decided to marry somebody from Mattawa and brought her over here. And 5 years ago, my husband and I decided that we would join them and move ourselves over here to be close to our kids and grandkids. We have a place on the airstrip in Desert Air, and for the last year or so, I've gotten a little more involved with what's going on, with what it takes to maintain and manage the airport, going to the commissioner meetings and whatnot. I am running for the airport commissioner, position number 3, and hope to bring to the position a broad perspective of the commercial aspects of the airport. And Ken did a really good job of summarizing why the community needs the airport. And so what I hope to bring is a new perspective on different options that we can look at to find a solution to some of the challenges that they've been met with lately, from between audits, some community pushback, and find a way to work through those and maintain the airport in good standing so that we can continue to have it to support the community and all the services that it provides.
I'm Bruce Eskelson. I've been here for so long that when I bought my lot, I was given this. And it was the most powerful computer you could buy and put in your hand. And if I'd bought a year earlier, I would have got a slide rule. But anyway, the only reason I tell you that is I'm well qualified to understand what's going on at that airport. Because when we came first, it was nothing but a rock pile. And it was a liability to the Desert Air Owners Association that was going to kill somebody. We got on the ball and we went to work with the state, and we had great response from the state. A guy by the name of MacGyver. And he got us the money to build that runway. Desert Air Owners Association, which I am Desert Air Owners Association, and I'm also airport, I'm running for the airport commission. They're one and the same. And Desert Air Owners Association has got to buck up and figure out what their responsibility is. Because when we got this money, whoops, it's going fast. When we got this money, they're the deep pockets. Everything goes back to them. And we can get better insurance if you stick with Grant County Airport District Number 1, keep it intact, helps a lot. And Desert Air's got to come along, in my mind, and say, hey, we're going to provide a constant source of income, just like they do on any other of their amenities. They advertise this as an amenity and don't want to pony up a certain amount like they should. And I'll probably get to talk to some more. I see the red light shining. I got a lot more on my mind, so thank you.
Well, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I wrote mine down. I am running unopposed. Good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Senard. I'm running for Fire Commissioner in Grant County District 8 because I care about safety, strength, and the future of our community. Our fire district plays a critical role, not just in emergencies, but in keeping our families and our property safe every day. I'm running to ensure our firefighters and EMTs have the support, equipment, and resources they need to do their job safely and effectively, while keeping the taxpayers' burden as low as possible. As Commissioner, I'll focus on responsible budgeting, transparent communication, and long-term planning to meet the needs of our growing district. I bring my experience from running multiple nonprofit organizations and multiple businesses, and a deep commitment to serving this community. I'm not here for politics. I'm here to work, to listen, and to lead with integrity. Thank you for your time. I'd be honored to earn your vote.
Good evening. I'm Richard Jenkin. I'm running for Fire Commissioner, position number 3 for Fire District 8. I'm running to refill a position. I was appointed to fill a position, but it was vacated by Richard Kumar last December. Basically, I've spent most of my life in public service. I worked for the Sheriff's Office for 23 years. Had a trucking business of my own. I did one term early when I first moved to Mattawa, which would have been about 45 years ago, as a board member on the school board when we were in the process of building the first high school. Since then, there's been a lot of water under the bridge and down the river. We've watched the fire department grow by leaps and bounds. I'm here to make sure that we continue to grow financially responsible to the taxpayers, as well as providing the service for advanced life support and fire protection, which is a basic need that has to be fulfilled. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mathis Lights, and I am running for Port of Mattawa Commissioner position number 1. Born and raised in the area, been here a long time. Something I'd like to do is help get our port back on track, back to being fiscally responsible, get a budget in working order, be able to bring economic growth, economic diversity back into the area, provide jobs, little other than ag for our community. Yeah.
We will be talking about the Wahluke School District first. But before we get into that, what I would like to do is ask some simple yes and no questions. If yes, raise your hand. If not, leave your hand down. I'm pretty sure your arms might get tired pretty soon. If a community member has a concern about the commission or board that you are running for, do you want them to come and speak to you? Okay. If the taxes are worthwhile, are you willing to vote in favor of them, provided they're in the best interest of the community? If you don't feel that they are in the best interest of the community, are you going to vote no? Okay, simple stuff, but I figured a little break in there while you all collected your thoughts after the introduction might be a good idea. On the Waldwick School District, rather. There are a variety of issues, that any school district is dealing with. One of those, unfortunately, and I know y'all have had a lot of heartache in the community over the last year or so with different events happening where you've lost young people to gang violence in Mattawa Desert Air area. What do you feel the district can do to mitigate the negative impacts of gangs in the community? Yep. Yeah.
So yes, that has been a concern in our area, and we've seen some specific incidents in the last 2 years, but it's actually been an ongoing concern for many years. It often comes back to the school, and they ask, what can the school do to fix this problem? And while we have a large responsibility in the community, we're trying to build good relationships with the families and the communities and offering services, not just for the children, but the community as well. But we need to promote stronger family values and community values. And we've been trying to do that with the ability that we have as the school, but we're also limited. And that's been one of the concerns and the challenges, is that the school often gets blamed. Why are the kids doing this? They're students at the school. Why is there gang violence at the park? That's not necessarily a school issue, though we do want to build those relationships and strengthen the relationship we have with the community, and we will, as much as we can, teach those values in our schools, but ultimately the families have the responsibility and the community members have the responsibility for that and teaching their children those values at home.
Okay. And Elia, your answer to the same question.
Is it Elia or Elia?
Elia?
It's okay, happens all the time. Well, violence has been an issue here in Mattawa, but not only here in Mattawa, it's been happening everywhere. And I agree that, yes, the students are at school, and how is this part of the school district's issues? Well, we are here, or the school is here to educate the students, but we also have a responsibility to educate the parents and educate the community. While that might be education on gun control, while that might be, it could be education on mental health. Why are kids acting like they're acting? And also educating parents on, like Luke said, family values, but also and parent involvement. The more the parents are involved in their students' education, it's not just the job of the school to educate children, it's also the parents' jobs. So if we do it together, then all of these issues are going to become less of an issue in the community, because we're going to have a stronger community, stronger education, not only students, but also families, that equals stronger community, and that's safety. And we don't only have the issues of gun violence. I mean, we can also educate them on other types of violence that happens at schools, like bullying, cyberbullying. Nowadays, cyberbullying is also an issue. I mean, there's different types of bullying causing mental illnesses and mental distress and all of these things. I think that it's a bigger problem, a bigger issue that we need to address. But also educating the parents on legislative sessions, legislative processes. If there's an issue happening, well, there's probably laws around it that are preventing us to do something about it. So let's educate them on how to get involved in those processes. And now I'm going to answer in Spanish out of courtesy to is that 30 seconds or 1 minute?
That was 2 minutes.
Okay. El problema es que la violencia en las escuelas. Entonces, si tenemos más educación y más valores comunitarios, podemos enfrentar los problemas de la seguridad y de la violencia en, todos juntos, con mejores resultados, por medio de la educación a los hijos, valores familiares, valores comunitarios, pero también educación legislativa, de por qué las leyes están así y cómo podemos participar en un cambio. Esa es la versión corta. Me imagino que podemos hacer subtítulos después en YouTube para la versión más larga. Gracias.
Well, I think both candidates kind of nailed it on the head. I think at the end of the day, it becomes a parent's responsibility. I think the school district can only do so much. But I think in the last 4 years that I've been here, we have stepped up. There's the community coalition program that was implemented. There's PAC nights. There's PTO meetings that are conducted throughout the district. One thing I do see, and I've heard from a lot of community members, is a lack of engagement from our parents. So I think at the end of the day, as a school district, there's only so much we can do. And unfortunately, a lot of this is going to fall on our parents. With our kids and their social media, their cell phones, teaching parents on how to see these issues before they become problems. So again, I think we've done a pretty good job. We probably could do a little bit more, but I also think that it's going to be the parents' job.
You have another minute. That was just a minute warning.
Okay, and actually, Nick, I'm going to keep you on the hot seat real quick for the start of question 2. Waterloo graduation rates are just a little bit better than the state average. However, at 85 to 89% graduation rates over the last few years, obviously everyone wants everyone to graduate. What do you feel that the school board can do to help increase those numbers and continue to get better?
Well, I think we have done a pretty good job. I know this year, I believe there's going to be a couple more college in the classroom courses. I think that's helped our kids a lot, being able to graduate with an AA, see them do Running Start, taking more classes or college classes in the classroom. I would like to see more of that. I would like to see more CTE programs, more ag programs. I mean, that's our area is ag. I would like to see ag companies come in and help teach our kids, so when they graduate, get something to look forward to instead of reading a book and going to college. They have a different avenue instead of just college. So that's what I would like to see for our future.
Okay, and Elia, is that better?
Yes. That's
Okay, thank you. Same question. Right now, Waterloo is sitting at 85 to 89% graduation rate. That's higher than the state average. What do you feel that the school board can do to continue to improve that?
Well, definitely expand on CTE courses, not only in agriculture, because that's what we are, but also on entrepreneurship. Students in high school, many students are already running a business. I think that's another way to prepare them for post-graduation. But I think the retention starts much earlier, junior high, middle school, and we've seen that junior high, it's probably the ages where students kind of act up a little bit more. So maybe bringing in more resources and more ways to retain them and stay in school at that age. But also, there was another one that I was going to say and I forgot. CTE courses, entrepreneurship, and I just dropped like, but yeah, have them more involved in schoolwork, and also prepare them if they don't want to graduate and go to college, not only because it's expensive, but because the workforce is, education is less relevant nowadays, and to get a job. So let's encourage them to get implement other ways of learning. A lot of students don't learn very well in a classroom setting or at school, so have like an online option. Or I know Sentinel Tech provides other options, but maybe the student is suffering from mental health, from bullying, and they're not concentrating well or they're not doing well in school, causing them to drop out. So if we implement something that is like a online school, virtual school, or some other ways of learning, maybe we can retain those students in school longer and help them graduate, but also prepare them for post-graduation life.
Same question. Just what do you feel that the Wallach School Board could do to help continue to improve graduation rates?
Well, to start off, I appreciate that you mentioned that we're higher than the average, and though being average is not our goal for sure, we want to improve. I must agree with the other two members here. I like to see other opportunities than just the traditional classes, though those are important, and emphasize that, and many of the students will go on to traditional higher education. But especially I think because of the area that we live in, that many are involved in, whether it's agriculture or other hands-on work, those need to be promoted as well. We have connections with CB Tech, and Elia mentioned Sentinel Tech as well. It has been a good option for some that need other avenues of learning. But we've recently been discussing with our board and the other directors that they're going to be pushing even more the CTE programs, the welding, the building shop, hands-on curriculum. We took a tour not long ago of CB Tech, and we're sending kids up there to Moses Lake to get some opportunities with culinary, with welding, with nursing, with police department. And we want to offer those other opportunities for kids who might not feel like traditional school is the way to go, or that traditional university is the way to go, and they feel like, well, why should I graduate? I'm not going to go to a college, I'm just going to go work. So giving them these other opportunities, I think will help keep them here and bring those numbers up.
Thank you. And Aaliyah, could you take the next question first, please? On the flip side of the graduation rate is the reading and math score situation in Wallach schools. Typically, you're well beneath the average for statewide reading and mathematics scores. What do you feel should happen to support math and reading in Wallach schools to help students succeed with those two basic skills?
I think that it's very difficult for students in Mattawa because this is an agricultural community, and we get a lot of migrant students that are in and out of Mattawa, in and out of the school system. So it's really hard to maintain high scores, I think, but that doesn't mean that we can't improve. And it starts with early education. From the last time that I went to school, I mean, there wasn't any pre-K, there wasn't any of these other services that now we have. So if we strengthen those core classes, ELA, math, and science, the other one, we can, from the early ages, then we can keep them at a steady pace and increase over time. But it's also important that the community and the parents are informed of these statistics so that they can also help. They can also be part of the conversation. We can maybe teach them how to teach their child at home. Maybe they can be a teacher at home and be able to help their students in all of these courses, to help their students maintain good grades, and then we can raise that average. Y ya se me acabó el tiempo otra vez, pero la pregunta era, la comunidad de Mattawa está en un promedio muy bajo en lectura, matemáticas y escritura, en lenguaje. Su pregunta es cómo vamos a mejorar. Mi respuesta es que ayudando más a los niños desde una temprana edad, para que puedan aprender poco a poco y vayan subiendo de nivel. pero también enseñando a los padres cómo ayudar a sus hijos en la casa con las tareas y otros trabajos para que ellos mismos también sean parte de la educación de sus hijos.
And actually, Luke, could you take this one next? Same question, just improving reading and math scores.
Yeah, and being on the board, certainly we've seen those numbers and continue to be concerned to a degree and pushing to improve those. One of the things that I really like that we've done and has been implemented in our schools in the recent years has been the dual language program. And it was initially kind of a pilot program in one of our elementary schools. We did a reconfiguration and now and recombined our elementary schools. And now that dual language program is offered in all of the schools, in all of the grades, K through 5, and then we're moving up into, the first group has just moved up into 6th grade. And while that doesn't fix everything, that addresses the issue, at least from the beginning, early on, of the concerns of some whom English isn't their primary language, and they have the opportunity to study some of the time in Spanish, some of the time in English, and they get more opportunities that way. And while initially it was just one of the 3 elementary schools, now we're offering that opportunity to nearly all of the students or those who desire to take that. And we hope that will see some fruits and will have benefit all of the students, whether they're English or Spanish is their primary language. They have opportunities in those, and we can hopefully see some progress there.
Thank you. And Nick?
Well, said it. You know, we have seen our numbers in some way increase. Obviously, we're not there yet. I think we've made some changes, kind of like with the dual program, more college in the classroom classes. I believe they added another English class this year. So I think we're working towards the right step. Obviously, we have a lot to do, and I would like to see more parent involvement with their kids, being more involved in school, and trying to get those numbers back up.
Thank you. And final question, if we can go back to Luke real quick, and then we'll move on to our next district. At this point, it looks like there's likely to be an M&O levy on the February ballot. You know, this is the levy that pays for basic day-to-day school operations. And I just wanted to check and see, what do you feel are the benefits and drawbacks of a levy with that funding model?
Certainly implementing or looking forward to levies is a challenge, though we just had some success recently this year. We passed the first, not passed the first levy, but passed the first additional levy since 2004. And so we've been working really hard, and by we, Andy Harlow, our superintendent, many of the directors are making big strides with our community. Our responsibility is to our community. We do see some challenges. Currently, look around, agriculture is on a downturn. And these are difficult times for a lot of people. We are hopeful that we can get the support of our community, because with those, that's how we take care of our schools, our facilities, and we just want to continue to gain the support of our community members and show them that we're being fiscally sound. That's one of the main things that we've been doing over the past number of years. We have an amazing finance team who have been very strong in balancing our budget and making sure that we're appropriating all those funds correctly. And we want to show that to our community and show them that yes, this is, we are asking for money from our community. That's what we need for the schools to continue the programs that we have, but it's for our kids.
Thank you.
Same question. Well, yeah, levies are important, just like Luke mentioned, because that's how many programs and many things in the schools are funded. However, on the other side, I'm also a single mom, and an increase on my property taxes, that's supported. And I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure it's across the board, across the city, because it's a low-income community. So it's difficult to get levies passed. However, when they are passed, I think that because we are asking for money from the community, it's important that the community knows where all of these funds are being appropriated to. It's important that they know exactly how their tax dollars are being spent. So while I agree that it's needed, I think that there's other ways that some of these things can be funded. And mostly transparency on where the funds are coming or where the funds are going and how they're helping my child and how they're helping the community. Like I said, it's a kind of, yes, we need it, but that's raising my taxes. So that's putting a burden on raising my kids. La pregunta era de los levies, que es el dinero en el impuesto de la propiedad. Este dinero se utiliza cuando es votado, cuando se vota y se pasa, ese dinero es utilizado en distintas cosas en el distrito. Pero es importante que sepamos que estos impuestos salen de nuestro bolsillo y que debemos saber en qué se está gastando este dinero. Debe haber transparencia en cómo se gasta el dinero y en cómo está beneficiando a nuestros hijos y a la comunidad.
Thank you.
First of all, our levies are important, and this levy is going to replace the levy that we currently have. It's not a tax hike, so we're already paying it. So it's technically not a tax hike, but it will be taxes. And in our great state of Washington, our taxes continue to go up, right? So that's what, I guess, in a way, one of the cons of this levy. But I believe that we need it for our children. We need it to run the day-to-day operations. Over the last 4 years, we've made some difficult decisions on the board. We've had to eliminate positions and basically scrape every dollar that we had just to get by. We possibility of losing federal funding is another issue. So overall, this levy is something that the school district needs, and again, hopefully you vote for it.
Thank you. And with that, thank you to all of the school district candidates for coming out and talking with folks today. If you'll stay right there, we're going to move on to flying things now, because the airport district is next, and who doesn't love checking out cool aircraft, right? But with that, the airport has opportunities and challenges just like any of the districts that are represented on the dais here today. So my first question is going to be pretty straightforward and simple. It's a unique district. It's not one that a lot of people are even necessarily aware of until after they've been here for a certain amount of time. What drew you to run for the Airport Commission, and what do you hope to accomplish as you serve?
Well, since this is my 4th time, we had an opportunity back again before COVID where some of the pilots invited the STEM students to come out and spend a couple hours on Saturday, and we just went over some basic things of how you fly an airplane. Nothing that you couldn't know if you wanted to read a book, but we were pretty successful at that. There were kids weren't really sure what it is they were supposed to do, and that was okay. We just wanted them to know that there are a lot of job opportunities, even here in Mattawa, to get a pilot's license. And served by me on the ground crew. Remember I talked to you about the folks that raised the hay bales, the hermetically sealed hay bales that they put on the ocean-going barges and ship them over to the countries that not able to build or to grow their own hay bales. Korea is a very rocky country. Japan has very little level flat. We have the central plains of the United States, and there was a time when buffalo roamed that, and then eventually we've gone to food cow barns, and there's some of those car barns over in Royal City between 11 and 12 Road, if you ever go out that way, and it's a little something that's a little bit different than what you see around here in Mattawa. And so I would like to see that reinstituted. And I guess I enjoyed it because I was a flight instructor when I was in the Air Force. And I was always well satisfied when I could take a second lieutenant who had a degree in college stuff and get him through the first 4.5 months of basic pilot training. Now this goes back a long time. They don't even fly those airplanes anymore. But it's an opportunity for me as an instructor to garner a little bit of appreciation or at least some interest. And so I've kind of kept that in the back of my mind because we have had issues with funding in that year.
I'm sorry, but the time is up for,
yes,
for
sir.
your response. And Gail.
Well, as I mentioned, we moved over here about 5 years ago, and we're lucky enough to buy a house right on the airstrip. Now, neither my husband or I are pilots. We don't own a plane, but we like them. We really enjoy watching the planes come and go, and had absolutely no idea getting into this what a critical part the airport plays in this region. As we watched life flight helicopters landing there, we watched military planes come in that were doing training missions. We've watched other aircraft come in that were doing support for the community, the helicopters that are running the crop dusting. It goes on and on and on. And so we developed a serious respect for the airport and what it contributes to the community, not just to people coming into Gulf and Desert Air. It also takes a lot of work to keep it going. And I have gotten involved with the Airport Commission, learning more about what it takes to make the airport viable. And that's what I want to bring to the table, is more ideas, more solutions, more participation to keep the airport viable.
Thank you.
My biggest burden for me is to destroy a myth. The pilots should pay. The pilots did pay. That airport was a pile of rocks, worthless. It was a liability, big liability. The state, from our airplane gas, X number of dollars from that airplane gas goes to build airports and runways. That money was granted to Airport District Number 1 at no cost to Desert Air or to the community, yet it serves this community $3 million. When we started this program, that piece of ground belonged to Harry Davidson, and he sold it as part of a planned unit development, which means everybody pays, but it was junk. And he was going to sell it, and we have people to buy it. Desert Air said, no, you don't. It's ours. Well, when you accept something, you take the responsibility of making it work, and it's a very easy responsibility. It can be solved very, very quickly. But there's 50 acres plus 2 lots. 50 acres, what's it worth? $2 or $3 million that went to Desert Air Owners Association, and they're no different between Desert Air Owners Association. They always talk about we and us. No, it's we and the community. And the community needs to be working towards excellence. And you've got an excellent airport. It's very manageable. People need to understand, read the contracts that are in force, and it can work no problem.
Okay, and you can keep a hold of that. I'll just let you go first on the next one. You know, you're already standing, right? So-
Yeah, well, I like being here. This is a message that needs to get out, and for some reason, it's really a hard one to convince people they got all this for nothing.
So the next question might be a little bit controversial and probably close to all three.
I
of the
love
parts.
controversy, no problem.
Okay, so it has been suggested that the district could be disbanded and possibly absorbed by another nearby district. Do you feel that is necessary? And if so, how do you feel that should look? If not, what are the other alternatives that you would like to keep the airport moving successful?
I'd like to
forward?
be able to get the point across that with our Grant County Airport District number 1, we're our port district, making the availability of a municipality at Desert Air. A municipality can get a lot more grants. We've got a sewer problem, we've got problems that are going to have to be solved. And through a municipality, which we have because of our work and the money granted from the state, we have that capability. And people need to read their contracts. They need to read that contract from Desert Air Owners Association that says they have to maintain it till 2043. If it doesn't work the other way, they're responsible. And it doesn't seem to resonate yet, but it will.
Gail, same question for you. It's been suggested that the airport district could be disbanded and absorbed by one of the other nearby districts. Do you feel that is necessary? If so, how would you like that to look? If you don't feel that it's necessary, what do you think could happen to make sure that the district is successful moving forward?
I personally do not believe that it's necessary to disband the airport district and have it absorbed into another neighboring district. In order to do that, however, I think that the airport commissioners need to step up and get more community involvement in coming to the meetings and getting an understanding on what it's going to take to keep the airport running, getting to know each other, everybody that's around the airport and then beyond, because as we've all stated, the airport supports the entire community, not just those of us that live on the strip. But we do need to get some information out there to get people to understand what they can do to help come up with some options on, and maybe do some negotiating, collaborating to figure out solutions that is going to keep the airport going and maintain its position as a viable district.
Thank you. All right, next.
I'd mentioned about the fire prevention, putting fires out. Does anybody in this room have a life flight contract? There you go. Could you please explain what that means?
Sir, no, we're keeping all of the responses on the stage.
Okay. So life flight is an air ambulance service using airplanes, and the people that have a contract with them use that if they need to go to a hospital that we don't have a whole lot of hospital and medical facilities here in Yakima, in Mattawa, and so you can get 20 minutes over to Seattle, 15 minutes or so over to Cadillac, and a lot of times those medical issues are very time sensitive. Anybody remember about 5 years ago when they had some really nasty accidents on the Wanapum Dam when they were rebuilding the dam bases? There were 6 people that were marginally and almost severely hurt with the explosion of a fire of a electrical box in the dam itself. Those people were airlifted to Seattle and got medical care in really quick time. So that's another thing that you don't have to live out by the airport to have a life flight contract. And I'm sorry.
All right.
We don't have to have that. That's one of those things that affects the entire community.
Okay. All right. And funding for the airport district is kind of unique. What do you feel could be improved upon on the district's funding model?
Well, we've just recently received a lot of help from the state auditor's department because the commissioners 3 years ago, during one of their every 3-year audits of the airport district, is accused us of using taxpayer money for us to have access to the airfield from our properties. And so we had to address that because that was a definite issue from the auditor's department. And we've come up with a plan which we've offered to all of the people that have property right next to the airfield, and we've had pretty good response. We've had, I would say, a majority of the people are happy to pay an annual fee so that they can, whenever they want to, taxi their airplane from their property across the boundary line onto the airport property. This is something that's done in public airports, private airports, big airports, little airports. It's a program that the FAA supports. And this is kind of a new program for us here, but we're fixing to have another audit here in about a month and a half, and we're anxious to see if this passes muster with the auditor's department. It'll make things a lot easier for us to get money to make sure that the runway is properly crack sealed. You know, that runway sits out there in the middle of all the good weather and all the bad weather, and so about every 6 years we have to spend somewhere around $150,000 to crack seal and put a new layer of oil and asphalt on top of that runway just to keep the cracks from forming and making the runway be useful to anybody that uses it.
Okay. And Bruce, can you take this one next?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to address my problem with that program that he's talking about is a contract written by a neighbor that they say you either sign that contract or you can't use the runway, and that's highly questionable. And if you read the contract where Desert Air Owners Association leased to the airport district, Grant County Airport District number 1, it states in there very plainly that in order for that contract to be valid, you have to give access for the people that live along the runway have to be given access to that runway. And they tell you, no, even if you donate, we're not going to let you. This is something that's got to be worked out. It's not a joke. It needs to be worked out. We're talking about probably $30,000 a year to run that airport. It's probably a $6-8 million asset that has no liability. It's free and clear to Desert Air Owners Association. Every time you go to sell or develop, they say, man, you got an airport, it's worth a lot more money. So, and just to break it down a little bit, every $5 to every lot, one time a year is $7,000. The math is pretty simple. About $50 one time per year gives you all the money you need to run it. Then you start at the top. The top is Desert Air Owners Association, which we are Desert Air Owners Association. Whether we like it or not, or whether they like it or not, it's not them and us, it's us. That will start and satisfy the state Then you can go to 501(c) and take donations and give people, and on down the line. And for some reason, we're not reading the FARs. The FAR said if you're going to have a over the fence fee, it needs to be coordinated with the FAA. So you start with Desert Air and their responsibility, which isn't great. We're paying $30 a year for security that we never see. $30 a month. We're talking per year at what I'm saying here. So it's very, very doable if people just understand what they've got. And then on top of it, you have the municipality and the port district. Now, Tom Dant, Tom Dant is not, I was kind of for combining the two port districts. Tom said, Tom Dent does not think that's going to work. He doesn't think there's a possibility. I don't know where that rumor's coming from, but it needs to be stopped, or not stopped, but
I understand.
There needs to be a meeting of the minds.
We're out of time for your response, though. And Gail, same question. How do you feel that the funding model for the airport district could be improved?
Well, there's always room for improvement, and I think one of the things that we need to do is kind of clean the slate a little bit and line out what some of the options are. And the current commission, in my opinion, did a good job of laying a foundation of satisfying the requirement from the state to have a steady income that we could show for using that property. That doesn't mean that has to be set in stone. It satisfied the immediate need. Moving forward, there's been a few other ideas thrown out without getting into the intricacies of the finances. We need to take a look at each of those ideas. We need to negotiate with the homeowners association. There are a number of paths that we can go down and come out on the right side of the solution to keep the airport viable.
Okay. And go ahead and stay standing. I'm going to pick on you one more time, and then we'll move on to the next district. And I'm going to ask each of you, just what is one thing, try not to repeat anyone else's answer on this, what is one thing happening at the airport that you think is something that's important that the community should know about?
One thing, oh my gosh.
Come to the pancake
Mike.
breakfast.
Yeah, no, Mike, I think the one thing that we have to work on getting out there to the community is for them to understand how important the airport is. I think without getting the community behind us and understanding how important the airport, its service is to each and every person, not just in Desert Air, but our entire community, I think that we need to do the job of getting the word out there and educating people on what the airport's all about.
Okay. And I guess Bruce, go ahead.
I gotta say this, the most important thing to me is look at that plant out there. You go around anywhere and you're not gonna find anything finer. And it costs Desert Air Owners Association nothing. It costs all the gas money paid to fly airplanes, and it's part of the national transportation system. If you live close to the airport, you can't use it. But if you're in New York City, you can use it for free. So you expect 20 people to, and I'm harping here a little bit, but we can solve this problem. It's very, very simple. We got to understand what those contracts say all the way through. We've got a negotiator that's done her lifetime negotiating. There's no reason it can't be negotiated out. I'm really optimistic, and I want to thank the people that stuck their necks out and went their way and brought in money and kept it going. They deserve kudos. I don't agree in some respects, but I've got a plan. I'm not just harping in the wind. Or without a plan. It can happen. So thank you.
Okay. And Ken?
Thank you all for coming and showing an interest. And that runway out there belongs to the Homeowners Association, but think about if we hadn't had that for the fires a couple of years ago, think about if we don't have the guys flying helicopters over the cherry harvest so that they can knock the water off before they pick the cherries. Those guys, a lot of them work out of that airfield right there. They bring their own gas, they have their own maintenance, so that when the cherries are ready to be picked, and that's the agriculture. That's what everybody here in Mattawa is all about. So we would like to make that available and improve the community.
Okay. And because I know all of you want to do a little plug for it, tell me a little bit about the pancake breakfast. Also, it's pancakes, so I'm sure everyone's interested.
Yes, the weekend of Father's Day weekend. I've lived here for 11 years, and we have it every year, and it is definitely a community effort. I think we should do more advertising in Mattawa. It's really reasonable to come out. You can feed a whole family for like 20 bucks, and we serve pancakes and scrambled eggs and sausage and coffee and juice, and we have a lot of people that fly in bringing their own home-built airplanes. So Bruce over here has an airplane. It's an old World War II trainer airplane, and he goes out and kind of does loop-de-loops for those of people that enjoy a nice little air show. And you can see that stuff from Mattawa. When you're in the traffic pattern over there at the airfield, you can see that out your back door or front door there in Mattawa. So this truly is a benefit for the entire community, and I hope that we can make some more progress in solving our little issues here.
Okay. And with that, we'll switch over to the fire district. There you go, Josh. First off, I know especially the folks here on this end, thank you for being patient and waiting. We're trying to get through it all, but I just think it's really important that we make sure that folks in the community are educated on what you're trying to do. There isn't a district up here that doesn't do something extraordinarily important for the community, and I want to acknowledge that right now. But Mr. Senard and Mr. Jenkins, thank you for your patience. So I guess first thing is, Josh, what drove you to run for commissioners in the fire district?
So community service is a big part of my background. Been president, vice president, on and off Lions Club for going on 5 years, and got the call that for me, it's a lot about being able to pass levies and stuff like that for the district. So I'm really involved in the community, and I can get the word out. Our services are important, and I just want to be a part of directing the district in the proper direction.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Jenkins, same question. Just what drives you to this? I know you've been in public service for a bit now. So what is it that keeps you coming back?
I'm kind of in a unique position as I'm retired. I understand a lot of the population of Desert Air is retired and living on fixed incomes in retirement. It affects them as well as me as far as levies and tax base. At the same time, I understand the fire department provides emergency services that they're only called for when the worst of times. Fire protection is something that we work to try to improve the equipment and the personnel and to grow so we can provide better fire protection for everybody in the community. But the majority of our service is through basic and advanced life support systems. We live an hour from any hospital. Our guys do an amazing job. They have mutual aid agreements with all of the districts and agencies around us. Response time has gotten much better over the years. We have equipment that has to be replaced, renewed, and stored. It all costs money, and it's a fine line.
Yeah, I've covered many instances where a fire district has to replace an apparatus of some sort, and the price tag makes me not feel quite so bad about the cost of my car. So there's that. I guess the next thing, Dick, is, or Richard or Dick, do you prefer? Either one? Okay. So I guess just every district has a lot of challenges, but we've only got time to address so many of them. What are 2 challenges that the district has right now that you have a plan for how you would like to see those challenges addressed?
Currently, we're working on providing a shop facility for storage for a lot of the equipment that's sitting outside that needs to be protected. We're also in a position where we have enough equipment now. We're going to have to be looking for a position for a full-time mechanic, just for maintenance. These are challenges for the district, and more places where we're going to have to deal with funding.
Okay. And Josh, same question.
Can you repeat that for me?
Okay, what are 2 challenges the district is facing, and how do you think they should be handled?
Well, first, I want to see a fully manned station in Desert Air. That's where a large portion of our community lives, and I'd like to see a fully manned station there within the next 10 years. Obviously, the garage facility is super important for our district now, but that's getting that fully manned and 83 out there on the slope should be high priority. And yeah, that and the garage facility, getting the funding for that, because it's looking like it's going to cost a little more than we wanted it to. So
It's almost like inflation is a thing.
Right.
So the next part is, you mentioned earlier, Dick, that a lot of this is you're going out to help people during a hard day. Like you're not going out there when things are easy. But education can help with that. What sort of community outreach is the department doing? And what can people do if they want to get involved and just learn from the firefighters that you have available?
Our volunteers are amazing. We have a volunteer foundation that does car washes, breakfast with a firefighter. So we also have the Firewise program, which firefighters will come out and assess your property. It's ran through the DNR. DNR, right, Pam? That's
Department of Natural Resources.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's the one that helped set it up, so I figured I'd make sure I'm putting that forward. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that we're reaching out to the community. So, and if anybody ever wants to talk about it, I know me and Dick doors are always open. So.
And same question. I know some of it might be a little redundant, but you might have a different viewpoint on things too.
Education is a large responsibility. Education, fire protection, we do supply, and the department will send out officers to do assessments on property, on homes, on businesses. We also we're in the process of having current employees going through advanced life support training. So we're looking to provide paramedic service as opposed to just basic life support service. That's part of the continuing growth. As Josh mentioned, one of the future plans are to expand and have a manned station at Desert Air, and as well as out on the slope at Station 83. These are all things that need to happen in the future.
Okay, thank you. And then last, and y'all have already touched on this a little bit, and you can tell I came from Texas because I'm throwing out the y'alls here, but what capital projects do you think the district should pursue in the near future, and how should they be paid for? Most
of our projects right now we're funding through our current budget in shuffling money. We do get money from Department of Natural Resources. A lot of our equipment is supplied through Department of Natural Resources. Our chief is amazing as far as being able to find available equipment to replace or replenish or even add to what we already have. Funding is always the issue. When you can't find free money, the only place to go for is the taxpayer, and that's where being fiscally responsible as far as what do you ask for as opposed to what do you really need to provide the service that you need to provide.
Thank you. And Josh, same question. Just kind of what are some of the capital projects on the horizon, and how do you feel that they should be paid for it? And I guess this implies, like, how is the district being fiscally responsible a little bit as well?
Yeah, our current budget actually is really keeping us on track to do the stuff we want to do, not as fast as we want to do it. And like you talked about inflation, it's obviously there's going to be, these levies are going to go up a little bit, and that's kind of our job, is to try and make sure that the money we get stretches as far as it can, so we don't have to put that burden on the taxpayers, because we're all taxpayers, so none of us want higher property taxes, but we all want, advanced life-saving services and, better fire protection. So, unfortunately, that's where it's going to end up coming from, I'm sure. But like he was touching on, our current chief is really stretching a dollar. Getting free equipment from federal resources that we can use to actually make money. He got us a D6 dozer that we can use to cut fire line on state mobs, which, we get an operator, we can make up to 10 grand a day doing that. So going out on state fires. So it's just doing more things like that, I think, is going to help lessen that tax burden, which is the ultimate goal.
All right. Thank you both. That's the last question I had on the fire district. Yeah, Port District next. But first off, I want to say thank you to both of you for the service that you provide to the community. Firefighting isn't easy. My father was a firefighter. I know how it is. Your schedule gets disrupted at random just because someone wasn't smart with a match or something like that, or someone's chains were dragging on the ground behind their vehicle, whatever the case might be. And I think everyone in this room appreciates the work that you do to keep the community safe, and I just wanted to say thank you. So the next thing I want to do is just speak to the audience and say, if you are concerned about your home, you're out in the country especially, and you've got a lot of brush around, take advantage of the FireWise program. It's a wonderful program. There's no cost to it. They just come and let you know what you need to do to make sure that your house is safe if one of these wildland fires comes up that could come by. We have an immense amount of acreage that gets burned in Grant County and the surrounding area on an annual basis. It's immense. You cannot drive anywhere in Grant County without seeing a burned out field. So contact the fire district, get your property assessed, and you not only will you save your home, but you could make it a lot easier on your neighbors as well. So it's a very important, very useful program. And to add to that, it makes it, when they're fighting the fire, it's less dangerous because there's less crazy fuel around and different things like that. So a great program overall. So now it's just down to Mathis and I. And we do have a hospital district question coming up after this, but she's going to be zooming in to help us with that one. Mathis, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to participate in the commission? Because you're working for the port and getting things done and trying to make sure the port serves the community well. What drew you to that? I would recommend it just for the cameras, if nothing else.
What drew me to that is the port is supposed to be there for the community to provide economic growth, to stimulate business coming into the area so that the community could benefit from that. What I'd like to do is give back to the community that helped raise and teach me about the values of good economy and kind of everyone coming together so that we can help each other to move forward. So that's what drew me to it.
And then, like I've said before, every district up here has its challenges that it's trying to overcome. Leadership at the port is changing somewhat significantly over the last few months and even moving forward. What is it about this role right now that you see as challenges that you want to help the port overcome?
The port has some challenges right now. What I'd like to do is help the port to be able to move forward, get over some of the problems that they've come into the last few years, be able to get back into a position where they can help with the community, help themselves, and be able to exist still.
Okay, and then next question would be, what are some of the specific goals that you have for the port to be able to get back to helping the community grow and helping just make the economy in Mattawa thrive?
Specific goals, first off, would be running a balanced budget, not having to start every year off in the hole, being able to gain the trust again of, let's say, county commissioners, statewide, so that they feel comfortable still providing funds to the port to continue to try to provide the growth for the community.
Okay, and every port that I've ever been to, whether it's sitting on the side of the ocean or landlocked or riverlocked in this instance, I guess, has a lot going on. What are a few of the things happening at the port right now that you think the community should know about?
A few of the things right now that are going on is the port is trying to change the wastewater treatment facility. They are trying to get in light industrial zoning legally for the Sentinel Industrial Park, so they can actually have businesses buy the property, move into the area, construct infrastructure so that they can conduct business. We are trying to look into energy projects. Everyone can tell that their power bill is going up. The PUD is running out of power to move around, so the port is looking into options to produce energy. We're between two hydroelectric dams, so it would be pretty easy.
Okay, that is all I've got right now for the port. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get set up to work on the hospital districts portion of the event. Give me just a couple of minutes while we get that figured out.